I'm ready whenever you are, Courtney.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Rich Pauley, and I'm the fire chief and also the co-emergency management director, along with Chief Mike Hurley from the police department. So welcome to our second Zoom meeting and emergency management team update. I think we're getting pretty good at this. I hope we don't have to continue it too much longer, but I think each time we do this, we get a little better. And thank you especially to Courtney over in administration, Selectboard's office. She's been doing a great job with keeping us moving. So what we're going to do is go down through a few departments here like we did last week. It'll go in order of Health Department, Department of Public Works, Community Services, Fire, Police, Town Administration, also Recreation, and then we'll open up to final questions. Chief Hurley, do you have anything to say this morning?
Nope, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you to Courtney for continuing to put these together for us. And hopefully we have a productive conversation this morning. Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome. We'll start with the Health Department. Can we get an update, please?
Sure. Good morning. Let's see. So in the state of Massachusetts, we currently have 13,837 cases of COVID-19 and 260 deaths. In our county, Barnstable, we have 383 individuals that are ill and 7 deaths in the county, and we have 4 people in Wellfleet that have confirmed positive cases. I want to say that the confirmed positive count isn't exactly accurate because we do know that there are others that have come, or folks that are here that are ill, went to a doctor, and the doctor has told them just to stay in and isolate, and their close contacts have been quarantined as well. They do not show up in our disease surveillance system because they do not have positive confirmatory tests. So our numbers have not increased from last week when we spoke. We will be putting the numbers on the website with an advisory saying that this is the number of confirmed positives. However, there are other folks in the community that do have the illness that are not reflected in that number. So you can look to the website for that information. We are following up with our cases. I do talk with them a couple times a week by email or by phone. Some are doing well, and we are getting them what they need as far as their mail or their groceries or food delivery service. So that seems to be working. We have the VNA working for us, also doing disease tracing and contact follow-up as well. And Claudia, the school nurse, is also available to participate if and when we need her to do that type of work also. We have 2 students coming on board with the health department that will also be available to help with whatever our needs may be. We acquired them through the state, through the program that you've heard about probably on TV. They're college kids in public health, and they're ready and willing to help us with whatever our needs in the health department are. The county has also received a grant to which Wellfleet will be getting a couple $1,000 from each grant cycle. There were 2 cycles that have come through, and that money will be going towards disease tracing and follow-up unless we have other immediate needs in addition to that. The CDC is recommending that all folks that go out in public wear their face masks. So I know there are a number of masks available around town. Folks are sewing them. You can make them at home with a t-shirt. We've posted some links on the website. You could wear a bandana, you know, a balaclava if you have it, whatever you have. They should be tight fitting, so you want a snug fit. You want your nose and your mouth covered. They can tie, or you can have the loop around the ear model. You want them to be secure, and again, make sure they're covering your nose and your mouth when you head out. If you are making one at home, you want to make sure it has more than 1 ply, so 2 layers of fabric. You can put a sheet of paper towel in between and then dispose of that. Feel free to continue to wear gloves when you go out. Make sure you discard them properly in a trash barrel. And again, clean and sanitize your hands after removal. Your face masks, if they are made of fabric, should go in the washing machine, or you can wash them in the sink with hot soapy water. And that's all I have for right now.
Very good. Thank you, Hillary. Department of Public Works, do you have an update?
Yes, how you doing? It's Jay Norton, the Assistant Director of Public Works. We're continuing our operations as normal, just with limited scheduling and alternating shifts amongst our employees to maintain safety and try to limit exposure to everybody. I'll split this up into 4 different categories quickly. Starting with the administration in the office, we're alternating shifts, so there's 1 person in the office every day. We're continuing our schedules Monday through Friday. Working from home is necessary. Continue to research grants that are, similar to transfer station facility functions. Researching COVID-19 reimbursements for any additional cleaning supplies that were required to purchase during this crisis. The highway department, we're continuing roadside brushing, sweeping, cold patching, responding to drainage calls as necessary, road grading, all the same functions that we're doing, just obviously on a limited basis. Any projects that aren't critical to infrastructure have been put on hold. Anything critical to public safety obviously continues, but anything that's not critical to those functions have been put on hold till further notice. Facilities department, we're ramping up our cleaning regimen. So disinfecting, we added 2 additional staff members to perform cleaning services in all the buildings. We're making sure that it's only 1 person per truck going around the town and in the buildings at any given time to limit exposure to everybody. We're preparing the ball fields for the summer. Not quite sure what's going to happen there, but we're still continuing those functions. Sign making for, this crisis. We've been working with the emergency management team and the select board pretty closely. So whatever needs that come up, we're making signs in our sign shop. And then Mike Sakali is on here, I believe, and he has an update for the transfer station.
Mute. Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Mike, we can hear you.
Hi. Okay. So just a quick update with the transfer station. Things haven't really changed in the last 2 weeks. More or less everything except the trash is shut down, and that's just to promote social distancing amongst the users and the staff. We're just down to critical functions. I did put out a barrel for ash for those of you that have ash to dump. And we do have a marine debris container down at the pier for shell fishermen that need to get rid of that stuff. As soon as this crisis kind of gets over with, we can start opening up other functions of the dump, but right now we're just down to the bare essentials.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Do you have anything else from DPW, Jay?
Let's see. Just a couple quick things. We're still processing road and curb cut applications. We're still hauling, obviously, all of our MSW off Cape, and actually more so than we were before because of the influx of other, seasonal house owners here. So we've been very busy in that respect. Just want to thank the public for, being patient with us. If we don't get back to you right away, please be patient. But you can always email either Mark, Vincent, or myself, Jade Norton, with anything that doesn't get responded right away through telephone. And also check the website frequently, the COVID-19, for regularly updates from the DPW.
All right, thanks, Jay. Very, very good. Next up is Community Services. Suzanne Grout Thomas, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Community services, our drivers are continually busy doing food pickups at Friends Market, the Wellfleet Marketplace, Orleans Whole Food. Also, we do pick up mail for people who are quarantined or unable to drive. We are picking up prescriptions from the Wellfleet Pharmacy, the CVS in Provincetown, and the pharmacies in Orleans upon request. We are driving through the pickup line at the food pantry in South Wellfleet. They do a food pickup 2 days a month. And this month, it'll be the 9th, which is this Thursday, and then the 23rd. And we have about 8 of our regulars who we pick bags up for, and we're able to pick bags up for other people upon request. We not only pick them up, we deliver them. Aside from that, everything is status quo with us. We have staff in the building Monday through Friday from 8 to noon, sometimes later, and we check all our messages throughout the afternoon and evening. Also, my cell phone number and Linda Balch's, who's outreach, a cell phone number, are on the voicemail that you pick up in case you need immediate assistance. You can hang up and dial one of us. And that's where we are.
Hey, very good. Thank you, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
Next up is the fire department. I'm going to reiterate a few things that we talked about last week because I know we have some new listeners, new participants. The first thing, again, if you have any type of emergency, medical emergency, fire, or need our services, please dial 911. Dial 911 directly. Please do not call the fire station business line. That's, again, because it's not always staffed. We may be out on emergencies, or we may be out doing other things. So make sure you dial 911. And if you do need us, we will be dispatched by the county, and they'll ask you a series of questions, just pre-screening. If you might have COVID-19 exposure, or you think you have, they'll ask the questions, are you having shortness of breath? Do you have a fever? Have you been traveling? And those types of things. But again, as that information is being taken from you over the phone, they are immediately putting that across from the 911 operator right to the dispatcher. So it's going across into the next room on a screen. All the information is being typed up. And so the dispatch is pretty quick because the information goes through very, very quickly from the 911 operator to the actual radio dispatcher, and what we call dropping the tones and getting us on the way. So again, don't hesitate to call us. I know everyone is concerned. We have had a few calls in the last week where people have hesitated to call when they should have gone up to Cape Cod Hospital, but they didn't feel that their medical emergency was important enough, or they didn't want to feel that they were taking up valuable resources up there. Please don't do that. If you aren't feeling well, if you are injured, please call 911. We will be there for you. So don't put your own health at risk or safety. Brush burning permits are available still in the vestibule of the building. There is a little form that we ask you to fill out and put a check or cash into the envelope for $15. Check made out to the town of Wellfleet. Brush burning season still goes to May 1st, as far as we know. We are still doing blood pressure checks. We ask that you call in advance, and we will send someone out to your vehicle and check your blood pressure, but we'd like a call in advance if at all possible. Some of you may have seen that we did a public announcement late last week. Mia was fantastic, came to the station, and we put an update on the fire department and what we may look like. If we end up taking you up to the hospital, we will put a surgical mask on you, regardless of your symptoms. All of our people will be in protective clothing also. That is in accordance with Department of Public Health requirements, and also in accordance with Cape Cod Hospital's requirements. So we just wanted to prepare you to, we're doing things a little differently, but it's for everyone's health and safety, both you as a potential patient of ours and our emergency medical people. Stay home, please, if you can. Social distancing, it still makes a difference. Again, I think we've said quite a bit about that. The other thing is we'll be putting out another PSA, hopefully by the end of this week, with an update from the fire department, and we're putting together information on that. And we encourage you, if you have any questions, to get on the town website. Courtney's doing an excellent job with the COVID-19 portion, the page. It's being updated on a regular basis. And also Massachusetts 211 is information for you. And the Massachusetts Department of Public Health has really good information on their website. So that's it for the fire department at this point. And then I'll ask Chief Hurley if he has any updates on the police department side.
Thanks, Chief. I appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. I'll start with, as the chief stated, we are operating still as a full department right now. We're healthy. We do have limited operations in our lobby, which are marked. If it's an emergency, please, the doors are open. The lobby is open to the public. However, we are asking that any items that could be dealt with or managed via phone call or email with the officers that are on duty. We are still responding to calls in town, both emergency and non-emergency. There has been some feedback given back to me, or I've heard of, that the officers are not so much in the community like we have been before. And again, just please understand that's at my directive. I'm trying to keep the members that I do have on staff now safe and healthy. We have 12 full-time officers, including myself and the lieutenant. And if I were to lose 3 or 4 officers due to the illness, it would severely impact our operations. But please understand, we do have a continuity of operations plan and a mutual aid plan in the Lower Cape area. So there would be no impact to police services. But I'll be honest, what's keeping me up at night is the safety of all the residents of Wellfleet, along with my staff here at the department. As we shift through this pandemic that we're going through in town, and it's going to go on for a while, I just wanted to shift gears today towards mental health. I've sent over to Courtney, who, as the chief has stated, has done an awesome job with our website. On there, I've listed many online services from mental health to substance abuse. Like everything else right now, unfortunately, these items are being dealt with either via phone call or via FaceTime with practitioners and doctors. So it's a big concern of our department right now, people's mental health right now. The stress, the anxiety that it's taken on everyone, to be completely honest with you. So please keep an eye on your neighbors. Please never hesitate to call us or the fire department if you see any signs of somebody that may be exhibiting some stress or anxiety, or you feel that they should be evaluated or spoken with. I'd also like to say the towns of Wellfleet, Truro, and Eastham have a navigator program run through Out of Cape Health. I have spoken with their contact person, Bree Smith, and she has assured me the navigator program is still operational. However, again, they are operating under a telemedicine or a FaceTime phone call right now. They're a great resource, and not just for mental health, food, housing. As we know, as this crisis continues to go on, it's going to be impacting many aspects of people's lives. So please, the navigator program is there. They are great. And I would say use them to the best of your ability. And if you have any trouble getting in contact with them, please call my department and we will make that connection. The final item, Barnstable County is operating under an emergency operations right now. They have a 24/7 multi-operational center that is running. They are in constant contact with all the towns, including myself and Chief Pauly. Through them, we can request services. We have had 1 delivery, Chief, I believe, of personal protection gear, if not 2 deliveries.
We've had 2 deliveries, Chief, and actually we're in pretty good shape. We believe for probably 30 to 40 days with stock rolling in as needed.
Great, I appreciate it. And they're a great resource. We are a small town. We do have limited resources. However, if we need anything in town, we do pick up the phone. The electric signboard out on Route 6 came down from Bridgewater through MEMA. And, they've been great to the town of Wellfleet. So I want to put that out there that we are working daily with them. Due to the select board and the governor declaring a state of emergency, as the emergency management director, along with Chief Pauly and administration, we are tracking all costs to the town of Wellfleet for some potential reimbursement coming up later on the line. Unfortunately, that money will not be here in town right away, but we may be able to recapture some of our costs as a community. To date, so far, it's been very manageable. However, I think the unknown with this crisis is hard to pinpoint. So I just want to let the community know we are tracking those costs and we will be going forward for any type of reimbursements. Chief?
Thank you, Mike. Next on the line is Town Administration, either Dan or Mike, please.
This is Dan, and after I've spoken a little bit, I'll let Mike add anything that he would like to add. Just a reminder, right now the town meeting is scheduled for June the 1st. The select board will be meeting on the last Tuesday of the month, which would be the 28th. They'll have to decide then whether we're going to stick with the June 1st meeting or whether we're going to postpone it again. That's because we need to get the warrant to the printer and get it out to residents if we're holding the meeting on June 1st. The next select board meeting will be on Tuesday, April the 14th. At that meeting, I will ask the select board to postpone the town election to June the 8th, which would be 1 week after the town meeting. I think what I'd really like to comment on is the people that you've heard from so far on this call are the heroes in this town. Your staff has really stepped up, and I'm just very impressed with what they've done when this is something no one could have predicted. I'd also like to comment that our community has stepped up. Led by Trudy and Bruce and Common Table, they've now served over 1,000 meals to people in the Wellfleet community. Suzanne and Selectman Mike DeVasto are on a weekly conference call with the various nonprofits in town, determining where needs are and how we can meet those needs. It's just, during this really tough time, it's really encouraging to be able to see how people have stepped up, both your staff and the community, and we should all be very proud. And Mike DeVasto, I'll let you say anything if you've got anything you'd like to add.
Hi. I guess I just like to say that the meetings have been productive, that we've been holding with Suzanne, and we're still sort of assessing needs. There's been some ideas put out there. I know that the food pantry will be having groceries available again on Thursday. And as things move forward, I feel like we're in a position to sort of move on additional needs and get the resources to people that need them. So it's been a productive time.
Okay, thank you, Selectman DeVasto. Mike Travato, do you have anything to add, please?
Yes, Chief. First of all, I want to echo Dan's sentiments for all that the first responders and public safety people have been doing in town, all town staff, and the people of Wellfleet in terms of how well they're bearing up to this crisis situation. Last week, I mentioned that we created a small business information guide that's available on the town's website to help businesses navigate through the available relief programs. As you know, the CARES Act was recently signed into law, which contains $376 billion in relief for American workers and small businesses. So I just wanted to highlight a few of the SBA programs available right now for small businesses. First is the Paycheck Protection program that offers direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on payroll. The SBA will forgive loans to all if all the employees are kept on the payroll for 8 weeks. And those loan payments will be deferred for 6 months. This loan has a maturity of 2 years and interest rate of 1%. And you can apply through any SBA lender for that. The Economic Injury Disaster Loans and Loan Advance Program provides small businesses with working capital loans of up to $2 million. And the advance program offers up to $10,000 of an advance. It's available to applicants who have been approved for this program. That program does not need to be repaid. It's almost like a grant. So you can apply for that through the SBA as well. The Sba Debt Relief Program will pay the principal and interest for 6 months for qualifying new and current holders of 7A loans. And you can reach out again to your SBA lender for that particular program. And last, the SBA Express Bridge Loan Program is available to businesses that have an existing business relationship with an SBA-approved lender. And that you can apply for through your lender. And for more information on all of this, certainly can also check the SBA's website at sba.gov. We have that information also in that information guide I referenced earlier on the town's website. Also just want to mention that Community Development Partnership, CDP, is available to direct assist out of Cape businesses in dealing with these programs. And you certainly can visit their website at capecdp.org. And also SCORE's Cape and Island chapter is available for technical assistance for small businesses as well. And I also just want to mention two privately funded programs that are out there right now as restaurant resources. One is the Mass Restaurant Strong Fund, and that provides grants for full-time restaurant workers. And the second is the Bartender Emergency Assistance Program, which is designed to obviously help full-time bartenders. It provides grants to working bartenders, both fully and part-time. Just want to mention that information is all available on the town's website, but people can feel free to contact me if they have further questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Is there anything else from the town administration or perhaps the select board?
I don't have anything. I can unmute Janet Reinhardt. It looks like she has something maybe.
That would be great. Thank you, Courtney.
Am I unmuted? Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for doing this. And I feel like communication is so important. It helps to allay fears. It keeps us connected. I love the signs. I saw some signs up at the beaches. I drove around yesterday to see how everyone was doing. And just, communication on Facebook, through the town website, but also more signs, or I don't know how the flyers worked out for Suzanne, but communication is key. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to open it up to questions?
Well, at this point, I think we need to see what we have for an update from Recreation, if
yeah.
Becky's on, and then we'll open up to questions.
I don't see her on.
Okay, what I'm going to do then is reiterate a couple things, and then we'll open up to questions. First of all, the decision was made to close the parks with respect to down at across from Mayo Beach, the basketball court, and also the elementary school. We're asking people not to utilize those facilities because we cannot keep up with them. We cannot clean them. It becomes a health issue. So the decision was made yesterday to secure the parks to the best of our ability. This is a great community, and I know we tend to be very social, and I know we look out for each other. But again, this is a public health and public safety issue, and we're asking for everyone's cooperation into not enter the general park area. The beaches will remain open tentatively to see how the situation will work out. As Chief Hurley said, this is constant. It's a moving target, but the decision was at this point to keep the beaches open so people do have the ability to at least take a ride down and maybe clear their heads. But please, if you get out of your vehicle, please pay attention to social distancing and keep sufficient space from each other. and hopefully, people again will be helpful and cooperative in that area. And at this point, Courtney, I'll ask you to take questions and open it up.
So it looks like Becky is on the call, and then Jennifer Wortkin from the library is too, who's also going to give an update.
Okay, Becky, can you give us an update?
Yes, hi, good morning. I just wanted to quickly read from a statement that we did post on the town website from the Recreation Department. We wanted to reach out to everyone during this stressful time to let you know how much we miss seeing all of you. We hope everyone is safe and healthy. Due to state and local mandates, as the chief said, for social distancing, the town has made the difficult decision to close the Bakersfield Recreation Center, including the playground, skateboard park, basketball, and tennis courts. We are also not able to order supplies to hand out to families at this time. Currently, these restrictions are in place until May 4th, and the hope is that by heeding these stringent regulations, we will be able to open our facilities and programs to the public by the time the weather gets warmer and we can really enjoy them. Despite these challenges, we are committed to staying connected with you in any way we can. Activity links are currently posted on the Town of Wellfleet website, including a fitness challenge video created in partnership with the Wellfleet Police Department with prizes for participation. We also plan on holding live virtual dance parties with DJ Angel and JT, and possibly a live virtual square dance with our callers, Ty and Amy Lemerand. Some of our instructors that were going to teach classes at the school this spring are able to teach them virtually, so we will be setting up links for those classes as well. We are also working on a way to virtually celebrate all upcoming Wellfleet Elementary School birthdays together. We welcome any suggestions for other activities. Please let us know your ideas. All activities will be posted on the town's recreation homepage, which is part of the Town of Wellfleet website. You can subscribe for email updates of this page on the homepage of the town site. We will also be posting them on the Wellfleet Recreation Facebook page and on Instagram at well.fleetrec1. Please take care and don't hesitate to reach out to us. We cannot wait until the playground and skateboard park are teeming with children. It's a sight never to be taken for granted again. I also, Chief, wanted to say quickly, we've been getting questions about why can't the outdoor tennis and pickleball courts be opened at this time. And I just wanted to read a quick statement from the United States Tennis Association that we received, and their policies and what they're telling their members. And real quickly, the COVID-19 pandemic is creating challenges for everyone across the globe. American tennis players are asking for guidance regarding the safety of playing tennis, especially when social distancing and space sharing issues are now paramount. Based on the recommendations of the USTA COVID-19 Advisory Group, USTA believes that it is in the best interest of society to take a collective pause from playing the sport we love. Although there are no specific studies on tennis and COVID-19, medical advisors believe there is the possibility that the virus responsible for COVID-19 could be transmitted through common sharing and handling of tennis balls, gate handles, benches, net posts, and even court surfaces. As a result of this, the USTA asks that as tennis players, we need to be patient in our return to the courts and consider how our decisions will not only affect ourselves, but how our decisions can impact our broader communities. In the meantime, we encourage everyone to stay active and healthy with at-home exercise and creative tennis at home variations. We have been posting all of these suggestions from the tennis and pickleball, soccer, basketball drills that you can do at home until we can open up the courts again. So please check the website, email us. We're at our office at Wellfleet Elementary School. We're doing staggering days there. So Assistant Director Angel Robinson is there some days and I'm there. We're checking messages and send us pictures of yourselves doing some of these activities. We'll put them on the website. We'll continue to work with the police department in the fitness challenge, and hopefully we can open up the facility as soon as possible. May 4th is when we're going to make the decision of if we can open or we have to stay closed. But if everybody does heed by these rules, we're hoping that we can open them sooner rather than later. So thank you.
Thank you, Becky. There's a lot of good information there. I very much appreciate it. I know we all do. Next, we'll ask Jennifer for an update from the library. Courtney, can you unmute Jennifer Workin, please? There you go.
Hi everyone. So we've been doing a lot at the library. The first thing is our website was down for about 3 weeks, and we finally got a new one. Andrea Pluhar, who's our webmaster, put together a website for us in about a day. And it's very basic at this point, but it's exactly what we need during this time. It's wellfleetlibrary.org, and I suggest you all take a look at it. We have a couple of tabs. One is a COVID-19 tab, which really has a lot of information. A lot of it's on the town website, and the first link is the town's COVID-19 website. But then we also have a lot of other links to some of the things that you all have been talking about, as well as other resources that people might find important. We have a food tab for a lot of food information for people, as well as a tab for the census, which I cannot stress enough is going on right now, and we need a complete count of that. So I know there's a lot of other concerns that people have, but Wellfleet needs to be counted 100%. So I just want to remind people about that. We are in the process of putting up a link for, there's so much free entertainment and education out there, and a lot of services have taken down their paywalls for this kind of stuff, and there are things like the Met is doing an opera a day, that kind of thing. So I just want to publicize that for everybody. Also on the right when you log on are all of our paid services, like our movies and our free music and our free entertainment services. And if you have a Wellfleet library card and you're a card holder, you can access any of that stuff. We also have a phone number that any of you can call if you have trouble accessing that, or if you need a Wellfleet library card, and that number is 508-514-1483, and that's also on our website. And I will be happy to help you with that, because I now have, through CLAMS, web access to our proprietary software. So we have a ton of digital resources for you, including I've bought some yoga and other videos for people to use. I am in constant contact with other directors and librarians about what to do, about what is safe. Unfortunately, things like curbside delivery and any entry into the building is just not safe at this point for you with the materials and for us as staff. And we're very concerned about everybody's health, and we want to get people information, but that means in a digital world right now. We are going to start doing live programming, and we're really excited about that. We're just trying to figure out how that works, and now that we have a website, we can do that better. All of the due dates and everything are extended, so if anybody has any materials that are out, no fines are being accrued, and don't worry about your due dates. And one more thing I want to let you know is we have a very old 3D printer, and we have a wonderful volunteer who has taken that home, and he is making the head portion of the face shield masks from the call that was put out from Cape Cod Hospital to the Cape Cod Makers Organization. And we're really excited that our 3D printer is being used that way. And the final thing that we're doing is we're making calls to our elderly, homebound, and isolated patrons to make sure that they're okay, and just to check on them on a regular basis. So that's what we're doing at the library.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Courtney, if you would now, I'll ask you to open up for questions if anyone has questions.
Yep, so Mia Baumgarten wants to make a quick comment, and then Helen has her hand up. And I just want to remind everybody quickly that there's everybody who has their hand up raised, physically or virtually, I will see it. Ted, I see you. This meeting is being recorded. The recording will go on the website. I'm taking copious notes, which will also go on the website. So this information will be available to everybody. So Mia, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, you can speak.
Hi, this is Mia. I just wanted to give a quick update on the PSAs that we've made so far. We've now done 3 that are available on the town website. One is a guided tour of how to use the COVID-19 functions on the channel on the town website. And one is an update from the police department, and one is an update from the fire. And the police department has about 400 views. The fire has about 700. So they've been really well received and very widely seen, which is awesome. I also want everyone to know that Channel 18, which is our local public access channel run by the town, is still broadcasting. I put on the recordings of these meetings as well as the select board meetings that happen over Zoom. And in between those meetings, I'm running the PSAs that I mentioned, as well as informational videos I received from the CDC and informational slides that I create based on the information that's on the website. So that would be like the most up-to-date information about the transfer station, the shellfish, how to get your shellfishing permit, how to approach things that you have to do in town hall, etc. And hopefully we're reaching some people there on the broadcast channel that we're not able to reach on Facebook, people who don't have internet access or people who aren't really online. And there are copious amounts of contact information and ways that you can contact town if you're just watching on TV. And I'm looking forward to making more PSAs with the fire department. I'm happy to make them for any town department that's interested and would find it helpful. And great work, everybody.
Thanks, Mia. Dan Hort, did you have something you wanted to say?
It made me think of it when Jennifer was talking about how many people in town use the library computers for a resource. Knowing that they can't do that right now, if anybody is having problems with any type of form, whether it be for unemployment or whatever it might be, that they are not able to print up the form themselves because they don't have a printer, you can send an email to townadministrator@wellfleet-ma.gov, and we will get the form printed up for you and mail it to you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you're having any problems with a form you need to fill out, but you don't have access to a printer. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Chief Paul, if we're ready for questions, it looks like Helen has a question, and then I'll take Ted.
Very good, thank you.
Helen, you're unmuted.
Thank you. Do I get to go or Chief Polly?
You get to go.
Okay, a couple things. Up until a few days ago, I didn't have a mask. And I've made a couple for myself and learned very quickly that you don't use vacuum bags. You can use anything else, but don't use vacuum bags. They have bad things in them. Second thing is, question to Suzanne or to anybody. People are making masks here in Wellfleet, and that's good, but there are also people that don't have them yet. Where can people go to get a mask in Wellfleet if they don't already have one? That's my first question. My second question is, because we're not recycling the way we do, we're going to have a lot more tonnage and it's going to cost more money, and I'll bet Dan has already figured out what that is, because we have figures from before about how much we've saved with pay as you throw. There are different options here. You can take it and just throw it in the trash, which is what the DPW has told us to do. I am taking my very clean recycled material, sorting it out, keeping it in large contractor bags, and I'm hoarding it until someday, we hope, we will be able to recycle again, but not everybody can do that. So the question is that viable, or will it simply create a logjam when and if we can recycle again? And you don't have to answer me now, Jay Norton, but it would be good to have that information put out there as an option, and also, is that feasible? So the two questions. The main one is about the masks. Where can people donate masks and where can people get them?
Suzanne, if you want to make a comment as the masks, you are unmuted. Okay.
Courtney, this
Suzanne,
is
can
Chief
you?
Polly.
Okay.
Could I make a suggestion with both of Helen's questions? I think they're both very good. And maybe if we could, between Suzanne and Jay, when they have a moment, put their thoughts together as they know them. And then we can update that with a PSA or put it on the town website. We'll get it out in as many different formats as we can.
Courtney, one more thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so when I went into the marketplace yesterday with masks and clean vinyl gloves, the people behind the counters didn't have plastic face masks like they do in Stop and Shop now. And it would be great if some of those plastic face masks that Jennifer referred to, just a couple of them, went to our local employees who are essential workers and deserve a lot of protection, in my opinion. Thank you.
Yep. And there are some citizens in town who have kindly begun making masks for essential workers and donating them for free. I did pick up a handful for town staff yesterday, so we can put those resources on the website. And if anybody else hears of them, feel free to email me. They're also on Facebook. So, but like Chief Pauly said, we'll compile answers to your questions, Helen, and get the information out there. So, Ted, I'm going to unmute you if you want to ask your question.
Yeah, it's more about the beaches. I think you guys really need to reconsider this. I live down at Newcomb Hollow, and there's two distinctive beach crowds. Monday through Thursday are generally people that live here. And on the weekends, it's crazy with day trippers, and the weather's only going to get better from here on out. Have you guys thought about that? Maybe making a resident only or something along those lines?
If I may, Ted, the emergency management team had this discussion as recently as 11 o'clock yesterday morning. And we really struggled with this, and I share your frustration. I think we all share your frustration. And I can't speak for the whole team, but I know this is still something that we're considering if we have to go to that extent. That is something that's still on the table, but we're just trying to play it by ear, and that's the best that I can offer unless Suzanne or Dan may have some other thoughts.
Just real quick, on Sunday it wasn't a very nice day out until later in the day. I had 3 separate groups of people wander onto my property looking for places to walk around, and that's highly unusual. And that was Sunday, and it was 48 degrees out. You know, if it's 75 degrees this weekend, we're going to be packed with people from all over. You know, New England weather, it can change at any time. I just wish you guys would really think about this.
I can assure you, Ted, again, this is Chief Pauly from the fire department. This is the biggest, I think the biggest question that we're struggling with right now. So we're clearly, our minds are open. We're just trying to sort through
I just feel like we shouldn't be attracting day visitors, you know? I know we have more people than usual already, but I think it's really unwise to be an attractive place for people to come visit for a day and play and go home.
I understand completely.
All right, thanks.
Courtney, do you have any other questions or any hands raised?
Jay Norton has his hand up, so I'm going to let him speak, and then Kathleen Bacon.
Okay.
Hi, this is Jay Norton, Assistant Director of Public Works again. Helen, I just wanted to let you know I received your comment, and we'll surely to be in touch with you on that. We are tracking our costs related to, you know, the additional tonnage in the MSW and comparing those numbers to, you know, our typical tipping fees for recycling and utilizing capital paper to dispose of that. So looking at those options and seeing, you know, what the differences in costs are there, and obviously to track for, you know, grant opportunities coming down the line. So in terms of the recycling and, you know, holding what you can, I think it's a good idea. But you're right. I mean, there needs to be a decision made on how much you should be holding. So we will we'll take that under advisement and be in touch.
Thanks, Jay. Kathleen, you're unmuted if you want to go.
Hi, guys. This is Kathleen. First, I am grateful for town staff and the emergency management team that's been handling the crisis in a very calm, cool, and collected way. I myself have been in a 14-day quarantine, and it's been very difficult. The only thing I've been able to do is get my dog outside. So, but you know, no one has a right to risk another's health. And from the very beginning, on the 17th of March, when the Board of Selectmen declared a state of an emergency, it hit me very quickly how serious this was going to be. And, you know, we don't know when it's going to be over. My first question goes out to Jay Norton. We have complaints about people throwing rubber gloves and disposing of trash, particularly in the Central District. But I can tell you that I walk from where I live to Duck Harbor through the woods every day. It takes me 2 hours. And there's trash out there as well. It's just mind-boggling how anyone could litter this way in such a beautiful town like this. But I'm wondering if you might reconsider putting some type of trash receptacle, at least in the Central District, you know, for trash. You know, it doesn't look good to have all this stuff all over the street and what have you. My next comment is going to go to Dan Hort, and I did a Zoom meeting with the Town Democratic Committee yesterday, and it came up that even if we're out of this by June 1st for town meeting, might we consider an outdoor venue for our town meeting this year, simply because, you know, even after this is over, I bet there's a lot of people that are going to be very reluctant about getting into a space with a lot of people. They might be apprehensive. You know, we haven't had any kind of social gathering, let's say, for 8 or 10 weeks. And then all of a sudden, we're going to be in that school gymnasium June the 1st. I wonder if we could consider, Dan, an outdoor venue. I know the logistics of it would be very complex. What comes to my mind is the town pier and the Jan Rutz bandstand. At least there's the infrastructure for a sound system there and parking. And it might be an outdoor venue, might be a way for this community when this is all over to just really get out there and celebrate, you know? And so that's something for us to think about in the future. I myself are looking forward today to getting slightly back to normal. So again, I'm very grateful for all the work everybody's doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Those are very kind words, and they are appreciated. Courtney, does anyone else have a question that you can see?
Courtney, this is
Mike DeVasto has his hand up. So
I was just wondering for the DPW as well. What I've had a couple people ask me what they should be doing with any kind of construction debris that can't be burned. If they should be holding that like from their own personal house, or if they should be throwing that in the garbage with the trash and recycling contractor bags. Things like sheetrock and stuff like that. I just didn't know if the DPW has any suggestion on what to do with that stuff for the time being. And the other thing I was wondering is if there's still, this is a follow-up on what Kathleen said about an outdoor venue, is there still plans to erect a pavilion down at Baker's Field, an outdoor pavilion? I know that was kind of in the works, but I had no idea about timing or whether that contracting thing is happening. But mostly it was just about the construction debris type stuff. What should people be doing with that if they generate it?
Just a reminder, if I may, this is the fire chief. Under state rules and regulations, no construction materials can be burned. That's a violation of the DEP air quality and also those requirements. I just want to reiterate that construction debris cannot be burned in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And then I'll ask Jay if he has any thoughts, or again, if this is something that maybe we can give bit more thought to, and then put out some information as we get better information.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mike. Also, thank you, Kathleen. I'll respond to your question as well. This is Jay Norton. I'll defer to Mike Zakali if he's still on the line about Mike DeVasto's particular question.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so as of last week, I know Paul Daniels Recycling in Orleans was still taking demolition. So we're asking people to go there, especially our contractors. But the other thing I would add to that too is that if you're a homeowner that's doing some demolition work, I'd ask you to hang on to that for the time being, because we're all trying to stay put for the moment, especially the next 2 weeks from what I understand. But I would bring the demolition there. That would be my suggestion. Paul Daniels.
Thanks, Mike. Courtney, do we have any other questions out there?
Dan Hort has his hand raised, and then it looks like one more.
Hi, Dan Hort, Town Administrator. In response to Kathleen, I'm glad to hear you're almost out of isolation. I think we have to accept that the world that we live in right now has changed, and I quite honestly can't picture a scene where we all on June the 1st get together in the Wellfleet Elementary School gymnasium to vote on town meeting. I just can't picture that.
Yeah, same.
All of us are going to be very nervous about all of a sudden, they say that it's okay now that we all start gathering in large groups. I see that that's happening in China, where they've just raised their restrictions, and everybody is saying that is a big mistake, that they're running the risk of having a second wave of infection. So I can't see a scenario where we all get together at Wellfleet Elementary School gymnasium on June the 1st. So we have to look at different ways of hosting a town meeting, and whether that is a virtual town meeting, something like this, whether it has to be a mail-in type vote to get just the essential things passed, like the budget. We're going to have to require the legislative approval to do any of that. Having an outdoor meeting somewhere is absolutely, it's feasible. We would have to figure out all the logistics of it, but I think people would feel a lot more safe, if they're not expected to sit in a gymnasium 1 foot away from their next door neighbor. We really have to look, and I'm hoping the legislature comes through with something, and I've been in correspondence with Representative Sarah Peak. We need to look at a different alternative, at least for this year.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, the person who's logged in is Courtney Butler, and it's not me who has a question. I'm gonna unmute you.
Yeah, it's Suzanne. I don't know why I comes
hi,
up as Courtney. Sorry.
That's okay.
I just wanted to answer Mike DeVasto's question about the pavilion at Bakersfield. It was ready to fly, and then the decision was made to delay any start of construction until at least May 4th, and maybe further on, depending on the decision of the Commonwealth and the town on the continuation of social distancing and self-quarantine.
Okay. Helen and Jay Norton. Jay, if you had any comments you want to make in response to any of these questions, go ahead, and then we'll take Helen.
Okay, great. This is for Kathleen. Thanks, Kathleen, for the question. And like Dan said, I'm glad you're nearing the end of your quarantine. That's great news. I totally hear you with the trash. Obviously the reason why we remove those is to protect our staff from handling any contaminated trash there. And I know in particular one of the trash barrels that was in the Central District was getting filled with plastic gloves that people were using at the marketplace. So that in itself was something that we discussed with the health agent Hillary, and that's why we made the decision to just remove all trash barrels from around town. With that, we will continue to monitor that, and we're constantly reevaluating the situation and the operations. So We'll be in touch on that too, just if it's getting out of hand, if it's getting to, you know, a point where it's a public safety hazard around town. We'll be in close connection with Hillary on that, and we'll provide a further update.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay, Helen, if you want to go, and then Marianne Bragg is on and has a question.
Courtney, Helen, okay, Helen is muted. If you could unmute her.
No, I just unmuted.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So with regard to what Dan said, Dan, I haven't spoken with you about this yet because you've been very busy. But what I want at town meeting are two things: full and fair discussion of things by people who show up, and then a vote. The votes on certain time-sensitive issues could happen at the town election if the legislators decided we could do that. And we could have full and fair discussions virtually in various formats, like the town, you know, the Wellfleet Community Forum, and we could have a full and fair discussion without a vote virtually in a way that would be accurate in terms of an exchange of ideas and a debate. And then we could have a vote later, because voting at the special elections is much more manageable than a lot of people in the room at the same time. I know that we can also push it ahead, but it's desirable, in my opinion, to have the budget voted on within the fiscal year. And I talked at length with Harry Turkanian about this, just kind of brainstorming about it, because he wasn't as busy as you are, Dan, but now I'm sharing this. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen. Marianne Bragg, if you want to ask a question.
Sure. It's a question for Hillary. With your, I guess maybe I think there could possibly be a list of people in terms of disease tracing, where you have your 4 confirmed cases, but other people who've gone to the doctor and been told to go home. I wondered what the total number of people that are on, if there is a list, the total number of people who are either quarantined or family of quarantined members or something like that. If I think of maybe the town has 3,000 people right now in town.
There is no list, Marianne, that we keep that has that information. We are not allowed to distribute that type of information. We are allowed to distribute the number of positive confirmed cases in town. So that is what we will continue to put out to the public.
Just in terms of disease tracing, though, you did use that phrase. So
yep, we
roughly,
do.
How many people, do you have a sense of how many people might be affected? I'm not looking for name. I wasn't certainly not looking for names or anything, but just wondering kind of quantity wise.
Well, we have 4 confirmed cases, and you know, it's different. It's different every day. So people come on quarantine, people go off quarantine, and it changes daily.
Marianne, this is Rich Pauly, the fire chief. Just to make a quick statement of clarification. When Hillary, when the health officer gets a notification of someone in the community that's COVID-19 positive, she transmits that information to me. It is the address of an individual, and then we send that information to our dispatch and to the police department dispatch, so that our first responders know that they're going to a location that a COVID-19 person has tested positive. We're not given the names at all. That is a HIPAA violation, but we do have constant communication from Hillary. She sent one to me Sunday night, I think it was, Sunday evening. So, you know, we have that information, but to I don't want to use the term speculate, but that's the best term I can use right now, but to estimate, you know, who and the numbers of that folks that may be COVID-19 positive, we don't know that at this point because of the limited testing. We do know what has been reported to us, and that's the best information that we have.
Okay.
Courtney, Susan Riverby has her hand up.
Yep, You can go ahead, Susan. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 quick thoughts and 1 query. One is, I suspect people are throwing the gloves down because they don't want to touch their car door with the glove that's been inside. So can we put some kind of sign up that explains, like, if you put hand sanitizer on the glove, you could then put it, you know, go into your car and put it off on the floor? I don't know, just some kind of information that would help people think a little bit about not dropping it on the ground. So that's one. Second of all, I just wondered if we could use the drive-in at all for the town meeting. If you could, you know, put it up on the screen, people could be in their cars, they could open their window and vote, you know, if they weren't that close. Anyway, it's just an idea I wanted to put out there. And then the third thing is, obviously, there's nothing the Wellfleet Seasonal Residents Association can do to stop people from coming. We've tried to put out reasonable statements to everybody explaining, of course, they have the right to go to their homes. So they should just do the right thing, which is what I've been saying. But if you have any thoughts about what you want us to send out to our membership, I've been in contact with a number of the select board people, and I'm monitoring the Facebook pages. Do let me know. Okay, I'm here to help. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
Yes, thank you, Susan. We really appreciate that.
At this point in time, I'm not seeing any other hands raised physically or virtually. So if anybody does have any further questions, you can email town staff at the town administrator address that Dan gave, or through my email address, which is on the town website. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out to any staff members.
Thank you, Courtney. At this point, if we don't have any other questions, I'm just going to make one or two final comments. Just as a reminder, we're doing this type of video chat Zoom platform every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. That is something that we will continue to do as long as this situation is still with us. So, you know, if you want to put that in your calendar, please, we appreciate it. I do appreciate the residents and other folks that have listened in, and I think it's very helpful. Chief Hurley and I are in communication several times a day, 7 days a week, either by phone or by text or with a social distancing 6 foot apart conversation. So please know that we're constantly on this, and I can speak for both of us when this particular issue, COVID-19 situation, is consuming a good part of our days and nights and work issues for both organizations. So, but that's what we're doing, and we have a very, very good emergency management team, again, that communicates probably at least daily through some format or another. So I'm going to conclude this with, again, look out for each other, please. Stay in touch. Chief Hurley's correct. Mental health issues, those types of stresses and strains that all of us are under, but keep in touch by telephone, video chat, email, social media. And if that is all we have, I guess we'll end the meeting.
All right, take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.